Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to the League Zero Racing Series, the premier Formula iRacing League. We're at Road Atlanta, my home track, for the third round of the season. Looking forward to another great evening. As always, I'm your host, James East, with Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, bringing you the action 1080p, 60 frames a second, as it looks like our driver's starting to get gridded up here under the hot Georgia sun. Let us know where you're from, who you're cheering on, as drivers will frequently have the broadcast pulled up on a separate monitor, and if they're not, they just about always go back and watch it over. Starting on pole, the current points leader, Ray Aguilar. In second is the defending champ, Jaden Calloway. Shazi Zuhair starting third. Nick Peterson starts fourth. Antonio Bianchi starting fifth. Adam Plunkett starting sixth. Michael Fairchild starting seventh. Greg Brick starting eighth. Nick Beaver starts 10th. The world-famous Australian Gareth McAllister starts 10th. Ryan Tebow starting 11th. Alex Jensen will be 12th on the grid here. Cycling on back, Felipe Ramos starting 13th. Julia Cervone starting 14th. Andrew Neri starting 15th. David Iezzi starting 16th. Leo Delma starts 17th. Jacob Bramley starting 18th. Julian Mador starts 19th. Xavier Zanave, the Flying Frenchman, starting 20th. Jace Meyer starting 21st. Zachary Bowman starting 22nd. Arturo Mayorga starting 23rd. Dustin Oberlo starting 24th. And let's cycle back one final time. Matt Foster starts 25th. Kyle Oliveira Basto starting 26th. Ricardo Espino starts 27th. Russell Soto starting 28th. AJ Brenner starts 29th. And Eric Guillory will round out the 30-car grid here today. Looking forward to a night of action here at Road Atlanta, the Grand Prix of Georgia, round 3 of Season 9 here at League Zero. Now we're going to start tonight off with our sprint race. And then after a very brief intermission, send them right back out for the feature event. So waiting on a few more drivers to make their way out onto the grid. Now tonight, Russell Soto and AJ Brenner had to serve a quali ban, so unable to qualify here tonight at Road Atlanta. So that's why we're going to see them uncharacteristically towards the back of the pack off the start. Waiting on a few more drivers to take the grid. Looks like we're just waiting on Craig Brick and Felipe Ramos. Now, turn 1 and the bus stop heading to the S's, I think is where we're going to see a lot of action off the start. But let's see if we can pan back a little bit to Eric Guillory. Starting almost up the hill in turn 12. There's a great shot showing just how far back he is. But here we go. The lights get ready to come on. Ray Aguilar is going to lead the field here under the Michelin Bridge, Road Atlanta. And we are underway for the start. A whole lot of smoke there. Calloway gets the better of the launch, pulls about 6/10 over Aguilar. I think Aguilar was one of those drivers with a massive amount of wheel spin. Calloway leads the charge up the field, and it's going to be very busy from about midway back. Looks like everybody got through that one relatively clean. As I say that, I see a report, Xavier Zanave off track into the racing line. I think that was Arturo Mayorga, Russell Soto getting absolutely cleaned out there. Zanave with a huge incident. Well, let's back that up. It started before that. I think that was Jace Meyer, yes, getting in to Zanave. Zanave spins across a hot racetrack, and that is going to end the night of several drivers early on. A huge incident to start things off here at Road Atlanta. So Arturo Mayorga, Jace Meyer, Russell Soto, Xavier Zanave, all down pit road. Who is that we just saw off track? That was Michael Fairchild, who's going to take a tow, and David Iezzi also off track. The hits just keep coming. Side by side down into turn 12. Where does it happen? That's going to be Fairchild. Spins it into the wall. So So I think Iezzi was a separate incident there. Not sure what happened. We saw him limping down the hill. Oh, gets a little bit loose out of Tim B. All out of shape. And that was Julian Mador getting collected in that one as well. Julia Cervone finds herself pointing the wrong way. I think that's going to be turn 7. Yes, just before the back stretch. Able to rejoin here. There goes Dustin Oberlo. Ricardo Espino, the number 90 machine, is going to probably make the pass here before reaching 10A. Has the momentum. Now up front, we haven't talked about him in a while. Jaden Calloway, a 1.6 second lead over Aguilar. Aguilar has Shazi Zuhair tucked in behind. Another driver off track. That is Craig Bricks, number 7 machine, trying to find a safe place to rejoin as there goes Andrew Neri in the 64. Eric Guillory finds himself off track. Oh, hops out of the racing line. I wonder if Guillory maybe thought he had some damage there and opted to hop out of the way. Jaden Calloway, your race leader, 1.2 seconds up over Aguilar. Aguilar has about 1.3 over Shazi Zuhair. I can't remember in recent history the last time we saw that number 10 of Zuhair up in a podium spot. This will be the 36th start for Shazi. It has been October 26th was the last time we saw Zuhair up on a podium. And that was back when we were in the Formula 3 machines. Let's go back to the battle for 10th. Ryan Tebow has Andrew Neri and Craig Brick in hot pursuit. Blasting up turn 5 in front of Spectator Hill. Looks like Neri's going to try and set something up here into 6. Neri throws the nose in. But Tebow carrying a little bit more momentum there. Oh, there's car parts scattered everywhere. I think that's Eric Guillory. The remaining bits of the 95 machine as we hint at 3 wide at the back stretch at Road Atlanta. They're bumping and grinding. I think that was Brick just tagged. I can't tell if that was Brick tagged Tebow or Neri there. What a wild night. Adam Plunkett, the number 40 machine, he's going to come down pit road. Very uncharacteristic for the sprint race. He must have some sort of damage on that number 40 machine. We go on board with Bricks, number 7. There's the 64 of Neri right ahead. Neri is trying to track down the 27 of Ryan Tebow. And this onboard really gives you an idea of the elevation here at Road Atlanta. Let's leave the onboard here as Brick gets set up out of turn 7. Now it looks like I think that might have been Alex Jensen ahead of this battle. So they may be catching up to the 7th place drivers. And here we go, just listen to the downshifts here. That's Craig Brick hammering downshifts into 10A. Also have a battle for 5th. Gareth McAllister works the inside line against Antonio Bianchi into turn 1. Bianchi tries to fire back here. And it looks like McAllister's going to hold on to the line. Blasting up out of 5. So McAllister able to make quick work of that number 17 machine. Eric Guillory comes down pit road. Now Adam Plunkett did return to the racing circuit, the number 40. The rule here, League 0, if you take a tow, oh, I'm going to interrupt myself. If you take a tow, you're not eligible to rejoin. But we were wondering why we saw Nick Bieber falling back, currently racing without a front wing on the number 87. He's got no front downforce. There goes Ryan Tebow. Bieber last time by a 107.81. Surely he knows he has damage. as he's getting swallowed up by the field here. Beaver, I would imagine, is going to come down pit road. I can't imagine he stays out. Yes, Beaver is going to come down pit road and try and get a wing button back on that machine. That's going to put Tebow up into 8th, Neri in 9th, Brick up into 10th. Let's see if Beaver gets back out on track here. Yes, he does. 11 seconds in his pit stall. Does Beaver have a wing on the front of the car? That's going to be the big question. Yes, he does. Get things buttoned back up. And while that's been going on, Ray Aguilar has been whittling away at the time advantage that Jaden Calloway had, now within a quarter of a second for these two drivers. 9 laps left to go this opening sprint. We could have a battle for the lead on our hands. On board with Aguilar, came into tonight the points leader, but that is the defending champ just ahead. Calloway gets a little bit better drive out of 5. Pulls a couple tenths over Aguilar. Trying to see where these two are strongest and weakest against each other. Aguilar's in a good spot here, though. He's going to be able to grab that draft off the back of Calloway's number 1 machine. And might be able to close up here a little bit. We've got Eric Fox join us in the spectator area cheering on. Ray Aguilar saying, "Let go, Ray." That would be ill-advised as drivers are hitting the speeds of Aguilar actually hit 196 miles an hour this past lap. One of the fastest top speed, trap speeds of the race. Thankfully, Eric Fox in the spectator area correcting himself, sharpening over the sign and making it say, "Let's go, Ray." And while this battle for the lead's going on, Nick Peterson, number 24 machine, catching up to Shazi Zuhair. Again, it's been since October since we saw Zuhair on the podium here at League Zero. Loving the solo cup paint scheme of Peterson. And the number 24 this season, a sharp-looking livery. Zuhair on the push to pass. You can see the halo blinking green, but Peterson staying right there with him, not even having to use the magic button. Both drivers throwing it into 10A and 10B. Zuhair comes out with a couple of tenths back to his name, trying to fend off Peterson. Calloway, who saw Aguilar closing up behind, just clicked off the fastest lap of the race. And AJ Brenner, who had to serve a qualifying ban, now up 20 spots in the number 80 machine, up into the top 10 as he runs 9th on the circuit. But it looks like Neri keeping right there with Brenner. And there's also Craig Brick, the number 7, who's been kind of shadowing Neri for the last couple laps. Eric Fox saying, "Let's bring back the gravity cavity." Man, those are different times. So right now you're watching Zuhair and Peterson side by side into what is now 10A. Back in the good old days, as people called it, 10A, 10B, and the drifting access road weren't there. It was just a large dip where you'd bottom out a car, a race car, and then blast up the hill. Formerly known as the gravity cavity. I want to say they changed that late 80s, early 90s. I think some of the wiser fans will probably know off the cuff. Calloway and Aguilar still separated by about 3/10 of a second. Going back to 7th, Antonio Bianchi has a bunch of drivers behind him. There's Ryan Tebow, Andrew Brenner, AJ Brenner, Andrew Neri. Another good battle. 12th back, Jacob Bramley, Felipe Ramos, Leo Dalmas, Zachary Bowman, all in a tight pack as well. Oh, here we go. Drivers bobbing and weaving here. Brenner picks up another position against Antonio Bianchi. Now he's going to try and make something happen against Ryan Tebow. Both drivers on the push to pass. Oh, who's going to yield first here? Brenner makes the pass and makes it stick. And something just happened. Something big just happened. Trying to get another camera angle to see what just transpired. I know Andrew Neri was involved in that. I think Ryan Tebow was as well. We're focusing on Neri in the 64. Oh, gets into the back there of Tebow, I think. Luckily, the rest of the field is able to skate through, but that is going to be the wrong way for Neri and Tebow. Leo Delmas finds himself having a very rough night. He's going to take a tow. Looks like that's going to be a turn one or into the S's, I think. I think it's going to be into the S's here for Leo Delmas. Oh, just misses the mark completely, I'm afraid. Obliterating the number 21. Looks like about 10 drivers have had to park it early on here. Felipe Ramos, Jacob Bramley side by side in the 10A. Oh, Bramley tries to fire back against that Inca Salsa sponsored number 73, but Ramos able to guard the line, but here comes Bramley. Guarding the inside, trying to get set up for turn one. And it looks like Bramley's going to make it stick there. Now, I think this is going to be a shootout down to the wire. Callaway and Aguilar have been separated by no more than 3/10 the majority the last couple laps, and Aguilar takes a peek there against Callaway, maybe trying to force a bit of a mistake in the 10A, see if he can get Callaway to overdrive on the brakes. Aguilar on the push to pass. Trying to pull up alongside. He shows the race leader briefly, but Callaway's going to have the inside line to one. These two guys coming out to put on a show here. Blows my mind how fast these Super Formula machines are getting around the circuit here, Road Atlanta, on a sport bike. Granted, a slower sport bike. Top lap time I've ever hit. Slightly different configuration was around the 1 minute 40 second mark. These drivers are doing 1 minute and 4s out here today. Have a 3-car battle. Julia Cervone, Ricardo Espino, Nick Beaver. Battling for the 14th place position, but something's going on. I hate to pan the camera back, but Jaden Callaway briefly showed in second. Aguilar keeps showing a wheel there in a 10A, and now it's going to be Aguilar's turn to set up on the inside line to turn 12. Callaway tucks in right behind that number 72 machine to use the draft. Aguilar's going to guard the inside. Callaway tries the long way around. There's contact between them. Callaway and Aguilar off track, involved in a huge incident. Callaway gets the worst end of it. Oh, how are the stewards going to judge this one? Let's get that one queued up on the replay. So watch Callaway, the number 1. Tries the outside line. Contact made between himself and Ray Aguilar. I'm going to get one more replay queued up on that. Luckily, Callaway didn't get hit by any oncoming drivers. That's going to be too tough for me to call. I almost want to say, from me watching that, is a racing incident, but it'll be interesting to see how the stewards call it. There goes Nick Peterson. A huge send into 10A against Shazi Zuhair. That's going to put Peterson up into second. Zuhair driving very aggressively here in the number 10. He qualified third, still third on the circuit. And it looks like they're catching up to Aguilar, the race leader. Very quickly, something has happened to Aguilar, as he has really backed off the pace here. Now Peterson and Zuhair, with just a couple of short laps left to go, have a chance of bringing home a win here at Road Atlanta, the opening sprint race of the evening. Aguilar on the push to pass, but Peterson's going to send it here into 10A, I think. There goes Shazi Zuhair as well. White flag will be out this time by Nick Peterson, showing as the race leader. White flag is out. It's Peterson, Zuhair, and Aguilar. Peterson has yet to get a win here at League Zero, and I'm fairly confident Zuhair hasn't had a win yet either. As Aguilar very far off the pace, he must have some sort of damage between himself. When the damage occurred between himself and Callaway. I almost wonder, maybe Aguilar might be waiting for Callaway here. Here we go. This is going to be it. Shazi Zuhair's on the push to pass. So is Peterson. No guts, no glory into 10A. Peterson, a Bixen of the inside line. Zuhair's going to get set up. No, Peterson blocks. Peterson has the line down into turn 12. Nick Peterson will get his first career win here at League Zero. Shazi Zuhair gets a personal best with second. And Ray Aguilar will round out the top three. Peterson gonna soak up the moment for a brief second before he takes a tow back to pit road. We got Dylan Waldron joining us in the spectator area as well. Always good seeing him. As we're gonna wait for these drivers to cycle into the waiting room. And we'll get some podium interviews going and get them right back out for the feature event. We've got Peterson. We've got everybody, it looks like. So we're going to start things off with Mr. Ray Aguilar bringing it home in third. Ray, not the race result you were looking for, but still showing you still have the pace to battle it out with all these other drivers here at Road Atlanta.
Yeah, I think tonight's one of the odd nights where I have the pace. I just had a little bit of bad luck. I think we had some netcode gods, but I tell you what, I wouldn't trade this third for anything. It was super fun fighting that out. I was having a blast.
Yeah, I mean, good, clean racing. Road Atlanta tends to lend itself to good racing. I know you're a fan of this track. Obviously, I am as well, but did you expect the racing to be so good here tonight?
Yeah, it's Road Atlanta. It always delivers. It's the best track in the sim. That's, what are you gonna say? Everybody loves it. Everybody shows up for it. And also, I just gotta say, people from Georgia are just generally good people.
Yeah, he's not wrong, ladies and gentlemen. But Ray, so you're gonna be starting third for the feature event, still right next to Callaway off the start. What's the plan? I mean, are you guys gonna be putting on some more fireworks right off the rip, or are you gonna kind of pace yourself?
I hope not. The plan is to not spin my tires off the start this time, get out in front, and try to get a comfortable lead.
That would definitely help with the chances. But, Ray, it's always a blast talking to you. That was a really fun race to call. Before I let you go, get ready for the feature. Who do you want to give a shout to that helps bring home a third for you?
My mentor and teammate, number 89, Charlie Z, and my other teammate, Antonio, who did a decent job tonight. And I want to give a special shout-out to Nick Peterson, who won his first race tonight. We've been wishing for this for a long time, so we can finally stop making fun of him.
Well, we're looking forward to getting him up in the booth as well. Ray, always a pleasure, my friend, and best of luck in the feature.
Yep, thanks, James.
Welcome, sir. That was Ray Aguilar bringing it home in third. Up next, a career best finish, Shazi Zuhair. Welcome to that second place spot, bringing home a silver for the first time.
Yeah, Shane, it's good to be here, man. Good to hear your voice again. It was a really fun race with Nick there. Since the beginning, we just battled it out. And really clean racing by him, too, so it made it really fun.
Yeah, it was a blast to watch. We haven't had you up here since October. It's good to see you up here in the top three with the Super Formula. And I mean, that was a battle for the lead. That's the first time I think I've seen you on camera wheel to wheel with somebody. And I mean, either one of you guys I think had any shot at it once you were diving into 10A.
Yeah, I think you're right. Just going into that S's there, I was like, oh, I block him up. I didn't want to cause an incident there. So I was hoping he would run off, like coming into the dive bomb there, but then he held it pretty well and then took the win. So congrats to Nick there.
Now, Shazi, you're going to be starting second for the feature event. What's the plan? What's the strategy to try and match or improve on this result in the sprint?
I think it's going to be the same as the last race. I think just starting on the side that we're starting on, it's a bit slippery. So just trying to stay out of trouble, trying to keep close to the guys up front. I know Ray and probably Jaden will come back to the lead there. So just trying to stay out of trouble and get a good result for the team.
Well, looking forward to it. That was a fantastic race to watch, just as much fun to call. Couldn't imagine how fun and stressful it was behind the wheel. But, Shazi, you've got a bunch of friendly Canadians cheering you on the spectator area. But who do you want to give a shout to that helped bring home his career best for you?
Well, thanks to everyone watching, first of all, and all the guys and girls in the league here. They put on a great show every week. And also to my cat and my wife. And also to my teammate. He's been really well this season as well. Hopefully he gets some podiums as well.
Awesome. Shazi, always a pleasure, bud. Hope to have you back up here following the feature. And, again, huge congrats on the career best.
Thanks, James. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. That was Shazi Zuhair bringing it home in second. But up next, for the first time in his career, Nick Peterson. It's been 3 years coming. Welcome to the top spot here at League Zero.
We made it. Finally.
We made it, man. I looked at the results. It was you started January 7th, 2021, Barcelona. A wee lad, season 1. You started 7th and brought home a 3rd. Look how far you have come.
Yep, it's been a whole lot of 3rds and 2nds, but first time in the podium spot.
Now, you were side by side with Zuhair most of that final lap. Zuhair kind of mentioned his thoughts, but were you apprehensive that possible race win was about to be snatched from your grip?
Yeah, when I crossed the line, white flag, I didn't have any push to pass because it was still counting down. So I was just looking at the dash counting down, and I had like 30 seconds. And I was just waiting for me to push to pass, and he had it on the last straight, and I was like, oh, I just lost it. I just lost the lead. And then I got it like halfway from that back stretch, and I just went for it. I just went for the deep braking zone, and shout out to Shaji for, driving safe with me. That was fun.
Yeah, I mean, that was an extremely deep move into 10A. I mean, how trusting did you have to be on your brakes and the mechanical grip on those front tires to not push in that corner?
I knew I was pushing wide, but I didn't know how deep I could make it without locking up. And I was racing side by side with Shaji the entire race, like all 17 laps. So I knew that he was going to be a good guy and, make it close. But, it's always such a gamble if he's going to give it to you. But he played nice.
I mean, that was one of my favorite races I've ever called, Nick. It was super fun to watch you and Zuhair put on a show. I mean, you're right, the entirety of the race, and the coolest part, seeing you on the top spot of the podium. And I know this is new to you, but you've got the privilege, the pleasure, the final send-offs of the sprint. Who do you want to give a shout to that helps bring home such a wild night and that top spot in the sprint?
Well, I mean, I couldn't have done it without Raymond. He was racing 1 and 2 and did a little oops, but I'd like to give a shout out to my dad for cheering me on and watching all these races, and my wife Laura for also watching me and cheering me on to my virtual races Thursday nights.
Well, Nick, it's super cool. We get to all cross off a big old mark on the bingo board, and again, huge congrats on that first career win, my friend.
Yeah, thanks, James.
That was Nick Peterson bringing it home in the top spot. It took 3 years, but he finally picked up a win. Don't go anywhere. In about 3 minutes, we'll be right back with more League Zero action and the feature event. Oh, Pearson gets into the 95 of Folks. Here comes the caution.
Flag is dropped here at Daytona, and away we go for the first time. Nicholas Morcel, Sean.
Looks like most get through unscathed. Look at that, there's Reed Gibson. A big move at the inside line of Dom's, possibly a little bit of contact.
Up now as we've got 3-wide action going through turns 1 and 2.
They're underway. Eric Hahn takes a nice jump. Wilson hasn't let it go very far.
Go out here for Circuit Spa Francorchamps. Alex Johnson's off to a brilliant start there.
See just how oddly shaped this one is. We saw in the background Eric Hahn go for a bit of a swing, and he's gone and he's over.
Smooth stuff. Cody Graham's the one-on-one up into second place. Alex Johnson 6/10 lead at the moment.
They're dicey up front. There's Andrew Kessel, Justin Sang.
They are ready to go. The lights are out, and away we go for the very first time here at Okayama International Circuit. Finley Fitzsimmons.
All right, race fans, we are back. It is time for the feature finale of the night. Twice the laps, twice the action here at League Zero. Let's get them lined up and ready to go. Nick Peterson off that first career win is going to be starting in the top spot. Shazi Zuhair starting second. Ray Aguilar third. Jaden Calloway starting fourth. And Gareth McAllister will round out the top 5 here in the starting order. Let's see. Looks like we're getting most drivers here quickly getting onto the grid, ready to get this show started. Still waiting on Bramley, Ramos, Espino, and Soto. Looks like we're just waiting on Ramos and Soto now to set the grid. There's Ramos. Russell Soto is not going to be joining us for the feature. We get ready for the lights to turn off. And we are underway. Looks like Aguilar got a lot better start. Ricardo Espino finds himself in the wall. We'll get a replay queued of that one shortly here. As Ray Aguilar said he wanted a better start, looks like he's going to make it happen. looks to me like the field's going to get through relatively clean here. Drivers that went off track took their time rejoining, so well done. Ray Aguilar is going to lead the field down the backstretch. Let's see what happened to Ricardo Espino off the start. Focused in on that number 90 machine. That's not what you want to see on the replay, unfortunately for Espino. Loops it off the start and ends the feature early on. Now here we go, that's what we're looking to see. Ray Aguilar, Jaden Calloway have linked back up, nose to tail. Calloway right on the gearbox of Aguilar. Tucks into turn 1 on the inside line. Calloway taking over the race lead here. Not wanting Aguilar to stretch his legs and enjoy too much clean air. Dylan Waldron saying he liked the shot of the cars coming down the S's. There's quite a few photos out there between motorcycles and car racing that has just beautiful sequences of everybody charging down the hill. Nick Peterson now sitting 4th. Adam Plunkett is taking the tow back to pit road. He is going to be done and out of this one. Well, let's see what happens here. Peterson, and that was Brenner taking over the 3rd place spot. Let's see what happened to Adam Plunkett, though, in the number 40 machine. Oh, Plunkett. I think that was Ricardo Espino launching off the back there. No, that was Espino having his own separate party. Espino does end up taking a tow back to pit road, retiring that machine. 1st and 2nd, Jaden Calloway, Ray Aguilar. Go back to 3rd, there's AJ Brenner, who has Peterson, Zuhair, Brick, Beaver, McAllister. Now, I think it was almost 21 spots Brenner gained in the opening sprint race, so with a better starting position, the grid is set for the feature by how you finish in the sprint. So Brenner having a lot less traffic to cut through. Craig Brick, Nick Beaver, side by side for 6th. We saw Beaver had a very tough showing in the sprint, losing the front wing, had to come down pit road. Now Beaver infamously never practices for any of his iRacing events. So it's usually later on the night we see that number 87 machine really get up to pace. Now in the sprint, we saw the battle between Calloway and Aguilar end in contact. Hopefully that's not going to be the case in the feature. I really enjoy watching these two drivers go side by side. Some of the best open wheel drivers you can find on the circuit. There's AJ Brenner sitting in 3rd, still getting chased by Peterson and Zuhair. Your 1st and 2nd place finishers in the sprint. Now 34 laps on the board for the feature event at Road Atlanta. As a reminder to the fans, there is no fuel stops in these Super Formula machines, but there is a mandatory tire stop. Brenner hard on the brakes, Peterson in tow, but I just heard that's Gareth McAllister and Ryan Tebow. Oh, a very questionable moment there. Luckily, it looked like everybody was able to get through. So that was, I think, Ryan Tebow. I think it was McAllister that actually started that party in the number 25 machine. I wouldn't say that's on McAllister. McAllister gets absolutely clobbered from behind. Was that, I'm trying to see, was that Ryan Tebow that made impact with McAllister? I think it was. Oh yeah, Tebow just absolutely punts McAllister. Now they were all able to limp it down onto pit road so they can, in theory, get those cars worked on and get back out on track. Aguilar in second, clicks off the fastest lap of the race, a 104.04. We're watching Peterson, who's staying glued in behind Brenner. Shazi Zuhair comes down pit road mighty early for a bit of an undercut. Maybe looking to get back out on track and get some clean air. Aguilar kind of pacing Callaway here for the race lead. Something has happened. Ryan Tebow takes a tow, so he's involved in another incident. Looked like that was coming out of turn 5, I think. Yeah, Tebow just pushes wide and 5 launches in the air and hits the magical Alt 4 and says, you know what, I've had enough. There's Jaden Callaway, your race leader. Looks like they've been whittling through traffic. I can't tell if that's Matt Foster, maybe Gareth McAllister going a lap down. I believe that was Foster in the 32 machine. Trying to hop out of the way of the race leaders. Brenner and Peterson also making their way through. No, they still have lap traffic up ahead in a kind of precarious spot to make passes through the S's. Peterson all over the back of Brenner here. Peterson with a little bit of fire in him now after picking up that first career win. Now, Brenner and Peterson don't want to waste too much time battling here, as they are already 3 seconds down from Callaway and Aguilar, who are going to continue charging forward. Foster pulls over, slows down to allow these drivers battling for third right on through. And speaking of battling side by side, Aguilar and Callaway. Oh, contact again between the two. Callaway definitely gets the worst end of it. Let's get a replay queued up on that one. They're side by side in the 10A. I can't tell if that was netcode or just bad luck, but it's bad luck regardless. Callaway can't catch a break here at Road Atlanta. That has given a 1.7 second advantage to Aguilar. Callaway in second, about 9/10 back, and here comes AJ Brenner. Can just see Callaway out of his visor. I can tell you as a racer, there you go, that's a great onboard of AJ Brenner. When you can see the other driver in front of you, there's just something about it that helps you make a little bit more time here and there. Let's keep an eye on the lap times here. We're still on board with AJ Brenner as they cross the line. Callaway a 104.43. Brenner a 104.28. So definitely closing the gap. Hopefully no damage on the number 1 machine of Callaway. Right now it's Aguilar, Callaway, Brenner, your top 3. Peterson and Beaver rounding out the top 5. Julian Medora comes down pit road for a green flag stop. We have Nick Peterson versus Nick Beaver, the battle for 4th. A 1/10 of a second separating these two. Beaver tries the outside line, coming out the start-finish line. Ducks back to the inside to carry momentum into turn 1. Nick Beaver takes over that 4th place spot from Peterson. Now this is what we talked about. Beaver gets faster as the night goes on. Does not turn any practice laps. As it looks like we've got a bit of a blip in the broadcast booth. Hopefully we can get that corrected. I think we're good to go up here in the booth. Sorry for that little bit of a hiccup we had there. But I think we're good to go as the battle between Peterson and Beaver continues. Peterson fires back into 10A. We saw that work out extremely well for him in the sprint. Aguilar clicks off the fastest lap of 103.6. Now let's see what happened. Julian Medor had an off track, followed by a retirement. Loses the back end out of 12. Misses the tire barrier and unfortunately slams the concrete wall here, Rolana. Looks like the top 13 drivers have yet to box. Aguilar hold on to a 1.5 second advantage over Callaway. And it looks like Antonio Bianchi starting to catch up to Andrew Neri, what would be the battle for 6th. Jacob Bramley involved in some sort of incident. Take a look and see what happened to that number 6. The always easy to spot bright yellow number 6. Gonna be in turn 7, loses the back end, around he goes. And apologies for the brief hiccups there as we're continuing to watch the battle between Neri and Bianchi for 6th. Neri the 64, Bianchi the number 17 machine. But we've got more crashes reported. Leo Dalmas now involved in one. Looked a little bit out of shape into 10A. But it's going to be too far right for Leo Dalmas, taking the old pit road access there the wrong way around. Luckily, nobody else involved, and still great racing across the track. There's Xavier Zanabe, the Flying Frenchman, versus Felipe Ramos. I think Zanabe wisely backed out of it there. Now Shazi Zuhair in the mix, as well as Nick Beaver. Ramos comes down pit road. And Zanabe has Zuhair and Beaver tucked in right behind. Zanabe has yet to box here. I just heard somebody crashing. That was Julia Cervone. Able to get out of the way, thankfully, so no other drivers were collected. But look at this 3-car pack. Zanabe, Zuhair, Beaver. Separated by about a half second between the 3 of them. Now, surely Zuhair and Beaver know that Zanabe has yet to box, but they do not want to get hung up behind that number 12 machine. Because historically, those two are very, very fast, especially when they're linked up nose to tail like this. You might see some blistering fast lap times. There goes Zuhair to make an effort of it into 10A. Let's see, does Beaver follow? Yes, Beaver able to follow Zuhair around. Both drivers getting around Zanabe. Zachary Bowman's coming down pit road for his one scheduled stop. Up front, it's Aguilar, Callaway, and Brenner. All 3 have yet to box here. Oh, and look at that. That is Zuhair putting the pressure on Arturo Mayorga. Andrew Neri down pit road for his one scheduled stop. A little bit shy of the halfway mark here this evening. There goes Zuhair, has been very aggressive here, the number 10 machine. Beaver once again follows him through. Feels like that's working out well for Beaver, allowing Zuhair to kind of open up the field a little bit. Beaver able to slide right on in that number 87 machine. Definitely the two closest drivers we have out on track at the moment. Let's see if we can get an onboard from our production team for Beaver. Yeah, perfect timing, as there's the 87 of Beaver trying to track down Zuhair. Oh, it looks like it's going to be a big run from Beaver here. Alongside the number 10 of Zuhair, who's going to yield into 10A. Looks like Beaver's going to have it by a comfortable margin there. Zuhair follows them in. And we had another incident reported, this time with Matt Foster, that's going to result in the 32 machine taking a tow back to pit road. Let's see what happened to Foster here. Diving into 6. Coming out of 7, he was on the push to pass. And just smashes the front end of that 32. Julius Cervone has made a pass on Jacob Bramley. Looks like Bramley must have had some sort of issue there. Oh, he's got all sorts of issues. Out of shape is Bramley. He is fighting that car. Is it crab walking? I can't. It looks like it's tracking straight. But what a series of big moments there for Bramley. I don't see anything wrong with the car. Maybe just overheated the tires. Let's see if Bramley comes down pit road. He is going to indeed. Now still waiting on our top 6 drivers to come down pit road and take those mandatory tires. We usually see about 3 different strategies here at League Zero. We have drivers that come in very early and then try and basically run the whole race on one set of tires, never allowing the first set to really warm up. We have drivers that box right as the halfway mark, is what we're seeing with Ray Aguilar as well as AJ Brenner. And then we have other drivers who stay out as long as possible to minimize the time they're on cold tires. On pit road is Aguilar, Brenner, and Brick. Callaway and Bianchi now first and second, opt to stay out. Looks like Alex Jensen, the number 45 machine, also going to stay out here. Aguilar rolls out on track. He spent 7.48 seconds in his pit stall. Brenner 7.35. Greg Brick a little bit slower on pit road, an 8-second stop. So your top 3 now, Callaway, Bianchi, and Jensen, have yet to box. So how's this going to play out when the pit cycles are complete? 16 laps left to go here at Road Atlanta. There goes Callaway down pit road. Let's see, does Bianchi box this time by? Oh, looked a little bit out of shape there coming on the pit road. Bianchi able to hold on to it. Never mind, he absolutely slams the guardrail on pit road. Alex Jensen, the number 45 machine, down pit road, so that's going to put... Uh-oh. Oh, no! Jensen has bended onto pit road. He has lawn darted himself on entry. Thankfully, no other drivers were trying to box behind, so that's 2 drivers claimed on pit entry here at Road Atlanta. Normally, we've seen drivers really get tied up with the pit out and the blend line. But drivers are coming in so fast on that downhill pit entry that doesn't really have any rubber laid down on it. And it seems they're a little bit more optimistic about the brakes than they can actually hold. So that puts Aguilar as your race leader 3.4 seconds up over Callaway. Callaway 4 seconds up over AJ Brenner. Well, let's go back to what a great battle this is. You've got Peterson, Beaver, and Zuhair putting on a show for fourth. Beaver's fallen back here to 6th, but Beaver, and Zuhair have stayed linked up for the opening 20 laps here. Now, two very different pit strategies as well. Zuhair with a massive undercut came down pit road on lap 5. Beaver on lap 10. And I just heard a report. Jaden Callaway has big problems here. He's going to have to take a tow to pit road. He does. And Callaway tonight going from bad to worse for the defending champ. Pushes a little bit wide out of turn 5. Drills the wall in front of the spectator hill. And Callaway is done and out of it. That is going to move Brenner up into 2nd. Nick Peterson now showing 3rd. Zuhair and Beaver slide into the top 5. This is not how Callaway wanted to start his championship. He's been plagued with issues the opening 3 rounds. Such a likable driver on and off the track as well, so absolutely gutting to see that for Callaway. Oh, that was Zuhair a little bit off track. I saw some, can't tell if that was car parts or one of the sponsor signs. No, that was car parts. That was Shazi Zuhair's front wing. Zuhair's lost the wing. It's going to have to come down pit road. He's got no front arrow. Beaver's going to get a breakaway here in 4th. Zuhair's on the push to pass. I don't know if he knows he's missing the front wing. Oh, he's about to learn here into 10A. Surely he's feeling it. Surely he's going to come down pit road. No, Zuhair stays out. The absolute mad lad. I don't know if he knows that the front wing is missing the number 10 machine. Surely he does. He's over a 1.5 seconds off his fastest lap of the race. No, 2 seconds off his fastest lap. Zuhair 6 seconds up over Andrew Neri, who's running 6th. With 12 laps left to go, surely it would be wiser for Zuhair to come down pit road, I would surely imagine. The lap prior, Zuhair was on the push to pass down the backstretch. And there we go. Zuhair is going to signal he is going to box. Try and get a front wing put on it here. Got 2 other distinct battles out on track. Julius Cervone and Felipe Ramos currently battling for 8th. They might be able to grab a couple more spots as Zuhair's on pit road. You also have Mayorga and Zanave battling for 11th here. Ramos, good time gain there into 10A. Zuhair in his pit stall, 10 seconds and counting, so maybe more damage. No, in and out in 11.3, so they're able to quickly put the wing on. Zuhair didn't lose too much time with that emergency pit stop. Thankfully, the crew was able to get that sorted out for him, get him back out in the circuit. Looked like Ramos got a little bit snapped loose there. And the Inca Salsa back number 73 machine. Oh, and Cervone pushes wide. There goes Ramos taking the spot away. Ramos is going to move up into 7th. And while that's going on, Zanave has caught up to Mayorga. Zanave trying to work the outside line into 7. Who's going to have the better drive here? Ryan Tebow joined us in the spectator area, saying that was half fun and a half shameful display of racecraft. Gotta love the optimism out of Tebow each and every week, even when things don't go his way. Always a great sport. And Zanave and Mayorga putting on a show as well for 11th. Now they're about 5.3 seconds back from Zachary Bowman, who's worked up inside the top 10. And the problems are complicating for Julia Cervone here. Off track, Shazi Zuhair is going to get a very healthy breakaway, as Shirley Cervone is going to have a slowdown penalty. Zachary Bowman might be able to move up to 9th here, depending on if Cervone has a slowdown or not. Another huge incident. Kyle Oliveira Bastos. And the number 49 machine, I believe also sponsored by Inca Salsa, pushes way wide into 5, launches up the curbing. And that number 49 is very quickly put behind the pit wall. We're back focusing on Xavier Zanabe's number 12. He's got Mayorga doing a great job pacing the Flying Frenchman. And for a brief moment, we saw Leo Delmas, the number 21, starting to join the fray as well. Now we have 2 hard chargers out on track. Michael Fairchild in 6th and Xavier Zanave in 11th, both up 19 positions so far tonight in the feature event. And having a great run. Now we just saw briefly on live timing, AJ Brenner had an off-track excursion. That is allowing Peterson to close the gap to 6/10. Peterson definitely had a confidence boost with that first career win. And I think he's going to do everything he can to try and track down Brenner's number 80 machine. Brenner, another driver who had an uphill battle all night long, served the qualifying penalty, had to slowly work up to 6th in the sprint race, but has been able to grab 4 spots so far in the sprint, working that number 80 all the way up into 2nd. Now Brenner 8.3 seconds back from Aguilar. Yeah, Dylan Waldron spot on. Zuhair and Peterson having a great night. We've got a crash report. Looks like Gareth McAllister, maybe Zachary Bowman. Maybe separate incidents. Around goes McAllister. And here comes Bowman, his teammate. Looks like that's going to be out of turn 6 that Bowman had his incident. So the 2 teammates crashing in tandem, thankfully on separate parts of the track, not involved with each other. Brenner still in 2nd, but Peterson hot on his heels. 6 laps left to go here at Road Atlanta. There's Peterson trying to close the gap. He's got it within 0.3 of a second, trying to catch that draft off of Brenner. And Peterson just clicked off the fastest lap of the race, a 103.6. So that is just not confidence driving the number 24 machine. Peterson has the talent to back it up here. Still 0.3 off the back of AJ Brenner. Brenner on the push to pass. Peterson is as well, wants to stay in the draft. Look at that, Shazi Zuhair. After getting a fresh wing put on, answers with the fastest lap of the race, a 103.43. 2/10 faster than Peterson's been able to click off here. Here we go. Brenner and Peterson side by side into 12. Peterson on the inside line. Peterson's going to try and guard. No, he's going to get that pass complete. Brenner tucks in behind. Brenner tries the inside line. Peterson shuts the door. Both drivers dangerously close, pushing wide in turn 1. Peterson is absolutely on it tonight. Let's see, does Brenner fire back? These are the two closest drivers on the circuit, as Ray Aguilar is just in a different zip code at this point. Aguilar almost a full 8 seconds up. Now Peterson and Brenner are going to have a little bit of traffic ahead of them. That may be Gareth McAllister. Biazzi not too far ahead. No, it's not McAllister. I think that's his teammate, Zachary Bowman. Bowman hopped out of the way, though. Well, hopped out of the way is a strong word. I think Bowman actually went off track, I think. Speaking of off tracks, there's Michael Fairchild having an incident in no man's land. So at the start of this backstretch, Shazi Zuhair was 2.6 seconds back, with Fairchild slow out of 7. Zuhair has gained just about 6/10, but let's go back up towards the front. I think we might have a 3-car battle for second starting to develop. Peterson and Brenner still going at it for second, but who's that just out of the frame? It's Nick Beaver joining the fray. The 87 machine of Beaver has just been kind of having a good time, clicking off laps, making passes here and there. Now, Peterson and Brenner on the push to pass. Beaver's in a good spot here, not using the magic button and still staying right with these two drivers. Brenner very deep into 10A, taking back over second, Peterson in third, but Beaver is right in tow, and he did not use any push to pass for that one. The Beaver working the draft here right on the gearbox of Peterson. Peterson and Brenner side by side into 1. Brenner holding on to it as they narrowly avoid contact. There is contact! Brenner and Peterson. Peterson gets the worst end out. The number 24 falls back to 4th. So Brenner up into 2nd. Nick Beaver sitting 3rd. Now let's see. We got 3 laps left to go. Shazi Zuhair once again the fastest lap of the race. Unfortunately, something has happened to Andrew Neri in the 64. We show him taking a tow back to pit road. Let's see what happened to Neri. And around he goes in the S's. And that's going to be his deciding moment where he's just not having any more fun. Now, Ray Aguilar getting your race leader, but we're watching AJ Brenner and Nick Beaver battling for second. Peterson hoping that these two slow the pace down as he sits in 4th, 1.2 seconds back. As it looks like Beaver pushes a little bit wide there. Here comes Peterson right back into podium contention. 2 laps left to go. Brenner has to be very happy with that one. That's going to slow both Beaver and Peterson down. That may allow Brenner to lock up a second here, leaving Beaver and Peterson to battle for 3rd. Beaver on the push to pass. Peterson not hitting the magic button. 2 laps left to go here, Road Atlanta. Beaver putting a gap on Peterson and reeling in AJ Brenner. Beaver's been on the push to pass for quite a while now. Something has happened. Michael Fairchild pointing the wrong way out of turn 7. As he has parked it there, rethinking his life choices in the number 88 machine. A shame Fairchild was up, I believe, 18 or 19 positions. Hard charger in the feature, though. That's going to be Xavier Zanave, the Flying Frenchman. Has made it 22 spots gained so far. Got last in the sprint race, has crawled his way up to 8th through the entire field over the course of this feature. White flag is out, as Aguilar just clicks off the fastest lap. It's pretty much good not to call that a 103 flat, a .064. As we continue watching this battle between Brenner and Beaver, Aguilar out front, just hot lapping here. Beaver fires back a new fastest lap, a 103.020. Beaver is moving in that number 87 machine. Brenner's going to do everything he can to fend off that 87. A quarter of a second separating these two drivers. AJ Brenner is out of push to pass. Is Beaver going to have a little bit left here? Yes, he's on the button. If it's going to happen, it's going to be in the 10A, I think. He's a quarter of a second back. Beaver is closing fast. He's got it within a 10th. What's going to happen here to A? Beaver pulls out of the draft. Side by side they go. Beaver pulls a 10th over Brenner there in a 10A. Oh, Brenner all over the back there of Beaver. Ray Aguilar picks up the win here at Road Atlanta. Nick Beaver will get second, and AJ Brenner will round out the top three. And while that happened, Beaver clicked off a 102.81, the last lap of the race, dipping in, the only driver to dip into the 102s. As Ray Aguilar's already pulled off the track, I think Beaver trying to calm his nerves a little bit here. These guys were absolutely flying. If Beaver can start practicing, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. That's a big if, though. I don't think we've seen Beaver practice yet. So we're going to get things started with Mr. AJ Brenner, the number 80 machine. AJ, you guys put on a spectacular show. I know it was an uphill night all the way for you, but man, you and Beaver just elbows out the whole time and great clean racing between you two.
Yeah, it was a good time. You know, I was really just hoping the race would be over by now. I got COVID as well, so this was just me trying to survive, and had nothing left for him at the end.
Well, I'll be brief because I know how exhausting that can be. I mean, even if you were in perfect health, that race would have been exhausting. But how much was it a mental struggle, or is it kind of a no holds bar, helped you relax a little bit, having to start from the back in the sprint and just kind of spend all night picking people off?
Yeah, I started P29 and just, kept my eyes forward and just kept going after people the whole time, and somehow ended up here. So, I'll take it.
Well, AJ, we hope you feel better, buddy. And again, congratulations on the third. Anybody want to give a quick shout out to that helped bring home the podium for you?
I'll just give a shout out to Squid Gang Racing. They're always there in the background helping out.
Well, great guys. AJ, always a pleasure, buddy. Feel better and hope to have you back up here soon.
Appreciate it. Have a good one.
That was AJ Brenner bringing it home in third. Up next, longtime friend, not a first-time caller, Nick Beaver. Welcome back. I mean, that was a spectacular show and the only driver to get into the 102s here tonight.
Let's go. Yeah. All right. That sounds awesome. Yeah, it's so good to be here, especially after that first race went.
Yeah, it was an uphill battle. Now, Nick, we always jokingly give you the hardest of times in the broadcast. I'm assuming you didn't turn any laps of practice coming into tonight. Is that correct?
I think and not coming into tonight, but I think I ran maybe 10 laps before qualifying. So I had a little practice. Plus, this is my favorite track of all time. So I have plenty of laps here.
Nick, what would it take for us and the fans to convince you for just 1 week to put in practice laps? And that way you're not having to spend all night getting up to pace.
Well, it wouldn't take any convincing at all. I think it's just it's my free time or lack thereof. I would practice if I had the time, but yeah, it's just hard to sit down and dedicate time. But I guess if I did that, maybe we wouldn't have to do what we did tonight. But this is fun. This is a lot of fun.
Well, I mean, it was a blast for us to watch up here. I mean, Nick, you and Brenner side by side. It seems like you're getting the push to pass kind of figured out as the more you run these super formula machines. And I mean, that was textbook at the end. You saved it for the right moment and made it happen.
Yeah. Again, saved it for the end. I used it the last 3 laps, and I timed it perfectly by crossing the line with maybe 1 second left. So, AJ ran out before the back stretch, and I had just enough to get past him. So, push to pass. It's cool. It makes this racing really fun.
Well, it was a ton of fun for us up here in the booth. I know the fans enjoyed it as well. Nick, who do you want to give a shout to that helped you bring home the second tonight, and just a great race all the way around?
Well, I have someone special, Hannah, sitting right behind me. It's an in-person spectator that nothing beats that. Shout out to Nick Trollman, for watching, and then thank you, James, for putting on the show. Also, a special shout out to Nick Peterson for getting the win in the first one. That's awesome to see that.
Well, super great night all the way around. The boys are going to be celebrating. Congratulations to you, the missus, everybody supporting you, and hope to have you back up here next week, my friend.
Looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
That was Nick Beaver bringing it home. And second up next, the man, the myth, sweet baby Ray Aguilar. Welcome back to the top spot.
Yep. It's a fun race, man. I'm telling you, this Road Atlanta, I told you last week, it's my favorite track. It suits me well. I really like it.
Yeah, I mean, after everything kind of settled, you were just out there putting on hot laps in the clinic towards the front.
Yeah, I was trying to just keep a gap and not over push, and because this track and this car combo is still like you can just be cruising along and all of a sudden you're pointed 90 degrees to the left you didn't expect to.
Well, I mean, yeah, the car, it's good enough to inspire confidence, but if you kind of lose focus, which we've seen happen plenty of times in League Zero in the back half of a feature event, you're right, it is very unrewarding for the inattentive.
Yeah, go watch the top of the hill there. If you watch everybody, I was doing that in practice. I was like zoomed overhead watching the lines everybody takes, and it's just inconsistent. You can't see, and you're right. If your brain forgets at one moment that you're like pushing hard for lap times, you'll easily shoot off into the grass. But I was channeling the inner James East focused out there, trying to keep as straight and narrow as I could.
Now, I'm glad you mentioned that, the both parts of it. First of all, thank you. But what did you have reference points going under the bridge? I know what we used in motorcycles coming underneath that bridge, but were you able to find something that to help you hit your marks every lap?
Yep, at the under the bridge. I know what you're talking about. Over the top of the hill, like turn 2-3 section. No, I have no marks there. So I was actually glancing at my speed to try to make sure once I brake to a certain point, I was ready to turn in, and it didn't work. You could see I was kind of very inconsistent on it. So I got to find something better next year.
Well, we'll help you on and off the track, Ray. We're glad to. But, man, you walked in tonight as the points leader. I think you're going to be leaving tonight as the points leader. A clean car following a sprint race, a relatively clean car following the sprint. Got to be pumped all the way through with how tonight went at Atlanta. I know it's the favorite track, and the results back it up here.
Yeah, all of my favorite rappers are from here. All of my favorite race broadcasting announcers are from here. And just frankly, I enjoy the food and the people and the, all the area or local area cuisine. So I really fit in here. I need to retire here someday.
I'd recommend it. Me and Waka Flocka, we know we're big friends of fans of Aguilar, but Ray, it's good to have you back in the top spot, my friend. Another dominant performance for that 72 machine. And before we let you go, you've got the privilege, the pleasure, the final send-offs of the night. Who do you want to give a shout out to?
I want to thank my wife for letting me do this and not making fun of me for it. I want to thank my teammate for putting it in this week. He had kind of a rough race. We're going to try to patch it up and get it going next week. TGS for putting on a good show, and Jeezy for giving me the focus music before the race. I had to use the local area music to do it, and it worked.
Ray, you put on for your city, my friend. Great to have you back up here. And again, congratulations on a massive win here tonight.
That was exactly the song. Like, that was exactly the one that did it. So you got it.
Well, thank you, sir.
I love you, James.
I love
see
you
you
too.
later.
Love you too, buddy. That was Ray Aguilar bringing it home, the top spot here at Road Atlanta. A wild sprint and an even wilder feature event. Aguilar was accompanied by Nick Beaver in second and AJ Brenner rounding out the top three. On behalf of LeagueZero.net, my name has been James East with Team Goon Squad Broadcasting. Thank you all so much for spending your Thursday night with us, and we'll see you at the next one. Have a great night, everybody.